Hey, it's me, Vicky Marie. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you are in this crazy world we're living in. Now, sorry, I'm just finishing setting up the live. I'm sorry I'm a little bit late. I just had to go and give my son pick my son up from work. Now I wasn't going to come on this weekend because I've put in a community post. I've got a lot of things to do with my Spanish books. But of course, when I saw this news about Erin Patterson, it's all coming out now, isn't it? I suppose this will be what will happen now, coming up to the sentencing. Now that Erin has been found guilty, there are things coming out, aren't there, that we didn't know before. Some more details coming out about the poisoning or suspected poisoning of her estranged husband, Simon. And there's an interview been released, the interview that she made at the police station. And it's very interesting, her behaviour. Remember when the trial was going on and I was saying I'd love to actually see her talking to get her a better idea, of what she's really like as a person and if she's lying or not. Oh my God. When you hear her talking and you see her expressions, and she is such a callous woman. I honestly, my breath has been taken by this woman because, we talk about a lot of evil people on a true crime channel, don't we? But I honestly think Erin, she's up there with Laurie Daybell. She's one absolutely tone deaf to anybody else's suffering. It's all about her. She's the one who's suffering. Poor her. How do you not believe her? God, these bloody pesky police people keep wanting, to interview me and everything. Why don't they leave me alone? It's like she's just obsessed with herself. Unbelievable. She doesn't care anything about these people that are dead, these vulnerable people. She truly is probably one of the most horrible people that I've ever spoken about on the True Crime Channel. And it's really sort of, and she is like a double deviant because she is a woman and women are not supposed to be, so horrible. But of course, a lot of them are. I know that. But sorry, I'm still trying to finish off what am I doing. I know that women can be horrible, but it just takes you by surprise. But she's also a mother, of course, and of course, just because people are mothers doesn't mean to say they're not horrible either. A lot of mothers do terrible things. It's just a surprise because it is unusual. It is less usual than the other sort of cases that we talk about. And it's the motive thing, I think, that gets me about her. Is there isn't really one, is there? Erin was a person who had everything, what other people would love to have, the life that, we've looked inside her holiday home that she sold for over $1 million. She had 2 lovely children. She had supportive in-laws. This family, these people. Let's put them up because always like to have we always have to remember the victims, don't we? She had these lovely people, helping her out. And she didn't appreciate any of it. She just thought because, they wouldn't, I don't know, because they didn't support her as much as she thought they should. Yeah, just kill them. But also, you're going to get a little bit angry with Simon, I think, here as well. And I do feel a little bit angry with Simon, the estranged husband, because it seems like he did suspect that she was trying to kill him. How did he let these relatives go round to her house for lunch? Maybe he just didn't think that she would do anything to them. Maybe she thought it was him. I mean, I think he is definitely at the root of all this. I think Erin hates Simon so much. She absolutely hates him for whatever reason. Maybe because he stopped letting himself be controlled by her. I don't know why she had this such a hate for Simon. Because, in the beginning they were saying, oh yeah, they were still on amicable terms and this, that and the other. I don't think they were on that amicable terms. Well, it all came down to that, didn't it, when Simon put on his tax form that he was separated. That really, really peed Erin off, didn't it? Especially because he did that without her permission, without running it by her first. I think this is the absolute crux of it with Erin, just wanting to be in control of everything. And when Simon stopped doing everything that she thought he should do, and so did these poor relatives, I think that she just thought, I'll show you. So it's a horrible motive as well, isn't it? You just can't get your head around it. To me, I look at Erin, I just see an entitled, horrible, conniving, evil woman. I really do. And as I've said before, I think her children have had a bit of a lucky escape, to be honest. I just like watching her whirring round into the hellhole. She's not quite in there yet because she's not been sentenced yet. But I just like to see that face of hers going to hell, for the hell that we're not sure if she believes in or not. It's 1 minute she's an atheist, then she's a Christian. She's just whatever she thinks will suit whoever she's talking to, isn't she? So let me put my banner on, say thank you, and on one. So yeah, it's a late one tonight, isn't it? I thought about doing it in the morning, but I need to get on with that book and everything in the morning. So I thought I'd do it tonight if I'm awake, and I am awake. So I have had a nap at some point today. So yeah, I'm awake. So I thought I'd do it tonight because this is, for us, well, for everyone, but for everyone who's been following this case, these are important things, aren't they, that are coming out, and it makes everything make more sense, doesn't it? Now, these things that we're going to see, the interview and these statements by Simon about thinking that she tried to poison him before, they weren't allowed. The jury definitely didn't hear about Simon, what he had to say. That was decided not to be allowed because it means you wouldn't get a fair trial. So I suppose that's when they decided to drop those charges or whatever. But whether those charges will come after a sentencing, for the murder of these poor people, Don, Heather and Gail. Don, Gail and Heather, I should say it that way around. So this is Don, yeah, and his wife, Gail, and then Heather, her sister, and then of course poor Ian, who actually survived. So I wonder what he's thinking about it all now. Is he going to be a bit annoyed with Simon, for not giving them the heads up, like don't go for lunch at Erin's? Anyway, thank you all for watching, for liking, for subscribing. Special thank you to my members. We had members live Thursday night, last night. I still haven't recovered. I've still been looking out for the Mothman we were talking about. The Mothman. Oh my God, that really did give me the creeps. That I've been reading up a lot more about it as well. It's very interesting. Anyway, that's not what we're here to talk about tonight. A special thank you to people who buy me a Ko-fi, send me a super sticker, send me nice emails, leave nice messages, PayPal me or support my channel in any positive way. Thank you so much. So take the banner off. So I want to say hi to you lovely lurkers out there. Hi to loathsome lurkers. And of course a special hi to replay crew. Thank you all for watching. And now I'm going to come into the chat and say hello to those of you who are brave enough to come into the chat. Now I need to put the chat up actually. Hang on, where am I? So I'm going to put the chat up on stage because of course I have the 2 YouTube channels, and if people are on different YouTube channels, they can't always see each other's comments. So I'll put them up so you can see what other people are saying. Ah, right, okay. Oh, thank you, Admit. I'll come down to that actually in a minute. I'll go from the beginning. There's quite a few. Do you know what? I thought I'd be talking to myself tonight because it's quite late. I thought I'm going to be talking to myself, but I thought I'll, just get the video out there and then people can watch it. Wasn't really expecting many people to be on. Hi, Joanne. Yes, more gobsmacked revelations have come out. Yeah. Hi, Angel. Hi, David. Hi, Bluebell. Yeah, more and more coming out about Erin, isn't there? Hi, Darren. Hi, Yvonne. Hello. I feel like I missed one there. No, I don't think. Hi, Geordie lass. Caught in traffic, Yvonne. No traffic. Hi, Anya from the Netherlands. Thank you for watching. I'm getting there. Hi, Lily. Hi, Annie. Yes, you've managed to catch a live. Hi, Tracy. Yeah, there's a lot of you here. That's great. It's great to see you all here. We should be having a party, shouldn't we? The gang's all here. Yeah, full house tonight. And you've been chatting a lot as well. Ah. Oh, thank you, Admit. Member for 10 months. Thank you so much. Where's my thank you? Still haven't done another thank you button. I will. Just got caught up with all these books at the moment. It's a nightmare. Thank you, Admit, for being a member for 10 months. And you're a bit tired, bless. Hi, Daniel. Gosh. Oh, yeah, the gang definitely is all here. Thank you so much, Admit. Let's get the thank you on again. Should get a double thank you on. Thank you. Thank you for the super sticker. I think I've got through it. I hope I haven't missed anyone because they really are. It's a lot of chat there, so I hope I haven't missed anyone. Saying hello to him. If I have, just give me a poke and I'll Right. So where are we going to start? So I think we'll start with, I've got to find the article again now. So details are coming out about these previous poisonings that Erin did, trying to poison Simon. So yeah, I'm a little bit, you think, I'm just trying to put myself in Simon's position. If you thought your ex had tried to poison you and then your parents say they're going to lunch at her house, I wouldn't let them go, or I would say to them, look, I don't think you should go. So I'm not, obviously I'm not blaming Simon. It's not Simon's fault. It's Erin's fault. But do you see what I mean? You want to warn your loved ones, wouldn't you? Surely you'd want to warn your loved ones. If you thought that, you'd been poisoned. But anyway, let's see what he had to say. Got it here somewhere. I think it was on Sky News that I saw it. Yeah. Oh, that's right. I put it on a Word document. So this is from Sky News, but I put it on a Word document. Oh, where's it gone? Oh, things disappear, don't they? Oh, yeah. So I'm going to read it out. I'm going to put a picture of Erin up, I think. I just didn't want to, I thought I'd put it on a Word document because sometimes when I'm trying to read the article off the, off the web, like all these adverts pop up and then it starts shaking or whatever. So I've copied and pasted what they said. Or shall I just read it off the article? Maybe I'll do it off the article. Yeah, you know what it's like. Daft adverts come up. Things, I don't know why they do it. I mean, first advert here is for a car. I haven't been looking at, wish I could have a new car, but you know what I mean? I don't even understand why the adverts are on there. But anyway, so yeah, Australian mushroom murderer allegedly served her husband poisoned pasta, curry, and sandwiches. Now, I must admit that curry probably would be an easy thing to put poison in, wouldn't you think? Because it's got a strong taste and it's in a sauce. I would think that if you were going to poison someone, she made a beef Wellington. I still think that beef Wellington, she said that it was something special that they used to have when she was a kid. That they used to have at home. I think there's something significant in beef Wellington. Don't you think? I know it's a good thing to put mushrooms in, but don't you think it's a bit sort of complicated? Like I say, you could just make a curry, couldn't you? Or a spaghetti bolognese or something, that was easy to make. Why make something so complicated? Because Erin, she wasn't a cook. That's one of these fallacies about her. She wasn't really a good cook or anything. She ate out most of the time, didn't she? Did these sort of DoorDash things, ordering food in and stuff. Don't think she was a particularly good cook. So yeah, why beef Wellington? But she did make some comment that when she was a kid, beef Wellington was I think it's like a special meal for her. Because she's a very evil woman, this one. Very. Anyway, so Erin Patterson, who was found guilty of 3 counts of murder and 1 of attempted murder, also allegedly tried to poison her estranged husband with food she made for him. So it says here that she allegedly tried to poison her estranged husband on multiple occasions. And she was found guilty last month, as we know, of luring her mother-in-law Gail, father-in-law Don, and Gail's sister Heather to her home, where she fed them lunch that contained death cap mushrooms. And of course, one of the other things that's coming out, oh my God, my voice is going. God, I've only just started talking. Is apparently her search history. She was looking at other poisons as well, it turns out. So she really is a real Lady Macbeth. So she obviously settled on the death cap mushrooms, probably when she saw them on that website, you know. But apparently she'd been Googling all sorts of different poisons as well. You know, so there's all sorts coming out about her now. So she was also found guilty of the attempted murder of Ian Wilkinson, Heather's husband, who survived the meal in July 2023 in Leongatha, a town southeast of Melbourne. Her estranged husband told a pre-trial hearing in October 2024. So this is something he told a pre-trial hearing in October, that he had suspicions he had fallen ill after eating food made by his estranged wife between November 2021 and September 2022. So here he is, here's Simon. You know, and I think I don't want to cast aspersions on Simon, but I don't think he's the sharpest tack. You know, like everybody thinking that Erin's so intelligent. I don't want to say he's not intelligent, but you know, multiple times being poisoned. It took him quite a long time for the penny to drop, didn't it? Do you know what I mean? It's like it's, you know, do you know what I'm saying? It took him a long time for the penny to drop. So maybe he just thinks that Erin is so intelligent because, you know, he maybe, I don't think she's intelligent. I think she's cunning, or she thinks she is, but I don't think she's actually that intelligent. But yeah, it's all going to. This won't be the last thing. So there's been a court hearing today, hasn't there? A pre-sentencing hearing. I say today, it's like last night in Australia, and that's where this has come out. So I think there's going to be a lot more released, bit by bit, isn't it? So this evidence was never released publicly due to a gag order put in place by the judge in order to protect Erin's rights in case she wanted to appeal her convictions. How she go? Apparently, after she's sentenced, so she hasn't appealed. She can't. It's not appealing yet because she's got to be sentenced first, and then apparently she's got a month after she's sentenced to decide if she's going to appeal or not. I just don't know on what basis that Erin will be able to appeal, especially now with all this coming out. So anyway, a gag order was put in place by the judge in order to protect her rights in case she wanted to appeal her convictions. Do you know, I do love it when these things come out though, do you know, because right from the beginning, I felt like Erin was probably guilty. And sometimes you get, you know, you get stick from people saying, oh, well, she's innocent till proven guilty, which is true. It's true. You are innocent till proven guilty. But when all these kind of things come out that make you know that you were right, you know, with what you thought, with your suspicions, you were correct with your suspicions, it makes you feel better about, you know, like, because we do, you know, we all have our views, don't we? We all have our opinions. And sometimes, you know, us as a community, we have the same opinions about people. Other times we have different opinions about people. But when you're proved right, you know, it's not a nice feeling in the sense of, you know, it's horrible that anyone would want to kill someone with especially these people that were so lovely and nice to her. It's not that I feel good about that. It's just like knowing that my instincts are right. I mean, my instincts, they're normally right. But you sometimes you think, oh, maybe I shouldn't think that, maybe. But do you know what? It just shows you've got to go with your instincts. And right from the beginning, I felt like Erin was like, a wrong un. I think most of us did, didn't we? But there's been the odd one who didn't, and that's fine as well, because we all have our opinions, or people that weren't sure, or we all have our views, we all have our opinions. We're not the jury, but it's the jury who decided. And now we can see that definitely, if anybody had any doubts, from all these new things now that are coming out, you just know that this was definitely the right decision. So apparently Simon Patterson told the hearing he began keeping a spreadsheet of his illnesses that all occurred after eating his estranged wife's cooking, including a penny bolognese, a chicken curry, and a vegetable curry sandwich wrap. Sorry, I'm not laughing because it's funny. It's just, it really is a crazy world, isn't it? It really is a crazy world. So the thing is, Erin was married to Simon for quite a long time, wasn't she? She's had 2 children with him. So she knew what he liked, didn't she? She knew what food he would like to eat. So she's given him all his favourites, laced with God knows what. So it seems that she's been researching quite a few poisons, according to her search engine on her computers and on her devices. Yeah, amazing, isn't it, really? Sorry, yeah, Anchor, I'm not trying to put, but I think the other people can't see your comments because you're on the Spanish, so I'll put that up there so they can read your comments. I don't know if you can read the other people. Well, they're all here on the screen, actually, but this is Anja. Yeah, I think she's on the other channel. I've got to get these channels sorted out, but... So, yeah, you do think... This is what I think, David. Yeah. He had a spreadsheet with all the different occasions on, and he didn't warn his family and tell them not to go. A spreadsheet, for God's sake. Flipping heck. Now, whether he had this spreadsheet just for his illnesses, or whether it was specifically... I mean, it may be that the spreadsheet he had, he sounds just like Erin. She probably had a spreadsheet of her illnesses. Maybe just, maybe he didn't click until, this all came out. That's when he maybe looked back and thought, oh, God, every time I was ill on this spreadsheet, this was after Erin had given me something to eat. Look at this. So listen to this. I mean, this is just incredible. The 3 alleged poisonings occurred during family camping trips that led Mr. Patterson close to death. Family camping trips while her children were there. This is that's the other thing I think. And I think part of the rest of the motive for Erin is she wanted those children all to herself, didn't she? She didn't. Simon got on her nerves, and he was sort of like, I don't know. He wasn't doing what he was told, was he? That's how it feels to me. He wasn't doing what he's told, so she's tried to poison him 3 times during family camping trips while her children were there. Those children, they've had such a lucky escape, bless them, because it must be awful. They've lost their grandparents, and now they've sort of lost their mother, and they nearly lost their father. Anyway, at one point he became so ill, he was temporarily paralysed and had part of his bowel removed. The court heard at that time. So all this information, there's been rumours about it, hasn't there? And people have, but it's never been said like as clear as this. because it couldn't be, because it would affect her right to a free trial, I suppose, a fair trial. So listen to this. So he said he thought there would be a risk that Patterson would try to poison him at the fateful lunch attended by family members, so he declined an invitation. So he actually really did think that she might poison him at that lunch, but he let his family, his parents and his auntie and her husband go. Perhaps he just didn't think that she would do anything to them. Oh my God, I think this is absolutely it's just incredible, isn't it? I mean, he obviously couldn't prove that she tried to poison him. So I understand why he didn't go to that lunch, but I cannot understand why he let them go. You know, why didn't he say, look, I think she's been trying to poison me and I don't want you to go because I don't think you'll be safe. I expect he feels pretty lousy about it now, but of course it's too late now, for God's sake. Aye. So he thought there would be a risk. Anyway, let's put this little video on.
Want to edit a PDF? PDF 8 is the tool you need. Easily upload any file, fill, sign.
It's a small town mystery, which has become one of Australia's biggest murder trials. At its heart, a beef Wellington and a batch of poisonous mushrooms. And the question, how did a family dinner leave 3 people dead and 1 fighting for their life in a coma? This case has gripped the country. Mother of 2, Erin Patterson, has been on trial in the Victorian town of Morwell. She was accused of murdering her estranged husband's parents and his aunt in 2023 in the town of Leongatha by poisoning them with a beef Wellington that included toxic death cap mushrooms. Don and Gail Patterson and Gail's sister Heather Wilkinson died after becoming severely ill after the lunch. Heather's husband Ian Wilkinson was also seriously sick but survived. Over the course of the 9-week trial, the prosecution accused Patterson of sinister deception. They said that she had deliberately foraged for the mushrooms, dried them, measured them, and delivered a fatal dose as she served dinner to her guests. She said she didn't own a food dehydrator, even though one was later found at a local rubbish tip, with her fingerprints on it and traces of the deadly mushrooms. She also admitted to the court she had told her former in-laws that she had cancer, even though she'd never been diagnosed with it. Erin Patterson's estranged husband, Simon Patterson, told the court that in the lead up to the deadly lunch, there were relationship problems over issues like child support. And the survivor, Ian Wilkinson, he told the court that Erin Patterson served her own meal on a different coloured plate to that of her guests. The prosecution argued that allowed Patterson to make sure that she didn't eat a poisoned piece. It also argued that she cooked it as individual pies and not one large log, so that she could also avoid
Oh, it's buffering. It's buffering. Anyway, it's nearly finished, but let's see if you...
Patterson was the only witness for the defence. She spent 8 days in the box and strongly denied the charges against her. They conceded she had lied about foraging for mushrooms and claimed she had no reason to kill her estranged husband's family. This case has gripped Australia and the world. Mushrooms and allegations of murder. Little wonder, it's captured people's attention.
So that's just like a refresher of the case, really, isn't it? So Mr. Patterson added that while he had stopped eating food prepared by his wife, from whom he'd been estranged since 2015, he never thought others would be at risk. I mean, I understand that, but he should have reported if he really believes she tried to kill him, he should have really reported it to the police, shouldn't he? Anyway, Justice Christopher Beale lifted the gag order on Friday, that's today, after rejecting an argument by the defence, who said its release combined with intense media interest would jeopardise any potential of an appeal. Now, I think Justice Christopher Beale, he's had enough of Erin, hasn't he? That's how it feels to me. I mean, they've tried to protect her, they've tried to give her a fair trial. I think really nobody could say that she didn't get a fair trial, because we didn't know any of these things, did we? There's loads of things that we just didn't know about. And so she's had a fair trial. And she's been found guilty. She is guilty. And I think Justice Beale is probably sick to death of Erin. But, the thing is, these people can't have it all their own way, do they? It always intrigues me that quite often when families of murder victims, you hear them talking and, giving interviews, and they say that one thing they learn from being the family of a victim is that the system is geared to protect the perpetrator, not the victim. So, and it's sort of, I know we don't want unsafe convictions, so I understand that the burden is on the prosecution, isn't it, to prove that the perpetrator or the alleged perpetrator did it. That, the alleged perpetrator doesn't have to prove anything, really. They don't have to prove they're innocent. It's the prosecution has to prove that they're guilty. So anyway, Erin's had this trial, this lengthy trial, and she was found guilty because she is guilty. There was nobody to give any evidence in her defence except her. Not even character witnesses, no experts, no nothing. So she's clearly guilty. And I get this feeling that maybe, Justice Christopher Beale, he's lifted the gag order now, because it's like, what more do you want? Anyway, she was also initially charged with 3 counts of attempting to murder Mr. Patterson, but prosecutors dropped all charges relating to the husband the night before her trial began in April, meaning they were never heard by the jury. And, I think that was a clever thing that they did. I mean, she's clever, that prosecutor, Nanette Rogers. I don't know if I've still got a picture up on here. I might not still have it anymore. She's very clever prosecutor. I mean, God, you definitely want her to be prosecuting. No, I've taken it down now, I think. You definitely want her to be prosecuting, wouldn't you? Or you wouldn't want her to be prosecuting if you were the guilty person. She was very clever. Her really, really clever, especially the way she tricked Erin into revealing that, in fact, she has got a good memory, not a bad memory, like she kept trying to make out she had. This sort of defence of Erin's was really, yes, I told all those lies. I lied about foraging, I lied about the dehydrator, I lied about having cancer, I lied about this, I lied about that. Told so many lies that I had repetitive strain injury for putting on the Pinocchio nose. And it was like, oh no, don't believe that lovely man Ian, who I tried to kill. You know, don't believe him. Don't believe him. He's got it all mixed up. Don't believe my children. They've got it all mixed up. Don't believe the doctor at the hospital. He's got it all mixed up. Don't believe. Oh my God! All the people. What was it? 50 witnesses that the prosecution called. That all had a different story to the story that Erin had. But Erin said, no. I was telling lies before, but now I'm telling the absolute truth, didn't she? And that was basically her defense, really, wasn't it? So, just really, the more you think about it, God, how she had the face to sit there and, you know, look at Ian and the families and Simon, how she had the cheek to sit there and look at them all after what she'd done, desiccated that family. Anyway, where am I with this now? So here's some of the evidence. These were the leftovers. I remember those poor people. They were elderly people. I don't imagine they had the most exciting life in the world. They were delighted to be invited over to Erin's for lunch, weren't they? And they said it was delicious. It was delicious. And she sat there and she watched them eat every mouthful around her dinner table in her home, knowing that from the moment they had eaten those beef Wellingtons, they were dead people walking, weren't they? Just dead people walking. Right, now my son's just gone out. You might hear a little bit of barking from Princess Tia. Oh no, she's not barking. She's trying to see if she can escape out the window. Hey, come here. Good girl. Good girl. What's this? Oh, she's the window's open slightly and she's just poking her nose out of it. But you know what? She can escape, so I've got to just keep an eye on her. Wait till she brings it. In fact, I might have to close that window. She's not above pushing it open. Hey, come here. There's a good girl. That's a good girl. So yeah, sat there, watched them eat every mouthful, prayed with them. Well, they prayed with her because she told them she had cancer. They all prayed together. She let them pray for her, knowing that what they were carrying in their tummies after eating that beef Wellington was going to kill them. Or at the very least, make them really ill. You know, the only sort of thing, I keep clinging on to the thought that maybe she didn't mean to kill them. Maybe she just meant to make them really ill. But, he's back in again now. But, I don't know. Or did she know for sure that she was going to kill him? You know, and was that what she wanted? To upset Simon. If she couldn't get Simon... You know, so Simon, there's no way he was ever going to eat anything again that she'd cooked for him. So did she think that a next best way of doing that would be, next best way of hurting him would be to kill his parents and his auntie and his auntie's husband? Because... You know, Ian Wilkinson survived despite Erin not for anything good she did to him. He was just lucky to survive. And you know what? The hospital, they deserve a lot of kudos for this because they realised so quickly that it was death cap mushrooms, which meant that Erin at least will face justice. Oh, it's gone out again, so she's gone back to the window. At least Erin will face justice, although it can't bring them back. But thank God Ian survived. So, yeah, there's the poisoned beef Wellington made by Patterson. So, and also, yeah, as I was saying earlier, evidence from a computer seized from Erin's home showed searches for other kinds of poisons, but that was excluded also from the trial. Oh my God. So the jury didn't even know about that. But she had been looking for other poisons. She's so guilty. It's so good to hear these things come out, really, because now we know even more certain that she's guilty. And then, of course, yes, she maintained her innocence throughout the case, with her defense calling the deaths a terrible accident. Gosh. I mean, it's jaw-dropping, really, isn't it? Jaw-dropping. This woman, just an awful woman, I think. Hi, Excel. Trying to just catch up, see if I've missed anyone, but sorry if I have, because you're doing a lot of chatting. Which is good, of course. I think I've said hello to everyone, but as I say, if I haven't, please don't take offence. I'm just trying to So let's have a look at this interview then. So they've released the police interview. We saw a little bit of the police interview actually at at her home. Remember, we watched that, and it was like, oh my God! I mean, they were sat around the table where she'd poisoned them, wasn't she? And she just looked totally fed up. She threw the phone at the police. She told him, "Your job's easy." She's such an obnoxious person. I mean, she really is. I'm sort of like, you just cannot. You just cannot. You can't get your head around it, can you? Anyway, we're going to have a look at this interview. It's been shared, by 7 News, a few people, but honestly, I'm just looking. The comments on Twitter about it. Some guy, I won't say who he is because I don't know him, says evil Erin Patterson killed 3 family members and tried to kill her ex-husband 4 times by poisoning their food. This police interview proves the crazy bitch was a psychopath and a stone-cold killer who has no remorse. She should get life without parole. Wait till you see this interview. Honestly. Unbelievable. Let's see the interview. Just trying to... Yeah, and now, of course, all the press now are saying, thank God the jury did not acquit her. The thing is, she has to have... has to have a fair trial, doesn't she? But now everyone's just so relieved that the jury didn't fall for it. Let's just actually, before we look at the interview, just let's have a look at this. This is just talking about what I just like to watch all the different news articles.
We can finally reveal an enormous amount.
Good afternoon. First at 4, to extraordinary evidence the jury never heard in the mushroom murder trial. Erin Patterson's former husband, Simon, feared she was determined to kill him, alleging she repeatedly tampered with meals in the years before that lethal lunch. We can also reveal police say they found highly suspicious documents on the triple murderer's phone. Yet none of this detail made it into the courtroom. Here's Cassie Zerbos.
we can finally reveal an enormous amount of evidence that's been kept private from the public and the jury until now, including the truth as to why Simon Patterson pulled out of that fateful lunch last minute. He, in fact, feared the mother of his children had been trying to kill him at least 4 times by repeatedly sabotaging his meals. The first was before a camping trip in 2021 where Erin Patterson served her then husband penne bolognese. The second was during a camping trip where she served him a chicken korma dish. The third time was a stew in July 2022. And
I just can't believe she tried to poison him when she was on family camping trip with her children. You know, she is a weird, complete bitch, isn't she? Weirdo, like evil. So she's on a camping trip with him and her children. She tries to poison them. So she's going to subject her children to possibly subject her children to the sight of their dad being carried off in an ambulance from a campsite. I mean, you know, you can't get much lower than Erin Patterson. Good God.
Fourth was while the pair went on a walk together. She brought vegetable curry wraps. All these incidents occurred between 2021.
Oh, they went on a walk together and she brought some vegetable curry wraps. You know, she just, oh my God, she's nothing if not inventive, is she? Oh my God, see, that's it. She knew what he liked. He obviously liked curry or like, you know, vegetable curry or wraps or whatever. Oh, so let's go for a walk together. Oh, I've brought us a picnic. Nice vegetable curry wraps. God. And how did she make sure she didn't give, you know, I'm just wondering how she would have made them, you know, make it clear which one was the poisoned one. Do you know what I mean? Because you wouldn't want to end up poisoning herself. She's probably put one in tinfoil and the other in a plastic bag or something. Oh my God. He should never have let his parents go on that lunch. He should have tried to talk them out of it. You know, as I say, I'm not blaming him. It's not his fault. But, you know, I don't think Simon's the sharpest tack, to be honest.
And 2022. A year later, 7 News revealed Simon Patterson had suffered a mystery stomach illness and underwent 3 emergency surgeries. The police interview has also been released by the court. It's the record of interview the triple murderer didn't want the jury and the public to see.
We're trying to understand what has made them so ill. You understand?
Yeah.
Conversely, we're trying to understand why you're not that ill. Right? So you understand why we're interviewing you today?
Yeah, I do. But I'm sure you understand too that, like, I've never been in a situation like this before, and I've been very.
Now we're going to listen to the whole. We'll listen to it on here, but we're going to listen to the interview on its own in a moment. But let's actually. I think they're going to. They've got the whole thing on here. Watch her now. Well, first of all, to me, what just struck me, was her face. She doesn't give her. You know, she doesn't really look like she's that. Look, am I bothered? Am I bothered? No, I'm not bothered. Just can't believe I'm sat here. I can't believe you rumbled me, you pesky police. You know, it's like she's. This is what I think. I think she surrounds herself with people who perhaps aren't as clever as her. You know, or you know, and I don't mean that in a horrible way. I think you know what I mean. So she can feel superior. So, like, that's why she never ended up finishing off her university degree, did she, or anything like that. She wouldn't want to mix with really sort of highbrow people because she would feel inferior then. She wants to feel like the superior one. So she surrounds herself with people that she can feel superior to, either in all ways, I think, you know, financially. She looks down on them and thinks they're not as clever as her. That's what I think Erin does. And so she can't believe now that the police. Do you remember that comment she made about the phone when she factory reset the phone remotely? And she made that comment saying, oh, I thought, oh, they can't be that stupid that they would leave the internet on it or whatever. Made some, she cannot believe she is there. You can see it in her face. She's not upset like for Don, Gail and Heather and Ian. She's not upset for them. She just cannot believe that Plod, who she looks down on as well probably and thinks aren't as intelligent as her, have managed to find things out about her. She can't believe it. She's just like, oh my God, I've been found out and by Plod. She's a horrible woman, isn't she? She's definitely going to be a big candidate for Twonk of the Year at the end of the year.
The record of interview the triple murderer didn't want the jury and the public to see.
We're trying to understand what has made them so ill. You understand?
Yeah.
Conversely, we're trying to understand why you're not that ill. So you understand why we're interviewing you today?
Yeah, I do. But I'm sure you understand.
Yeah, and listen, yeah, I do. That's how she talks. I'm glad that I can hear her voice now. Now, even her voice tells you everything. Listen to what she says here, because what does he say? He says, right, let's hear what he says.
Yeah, I do. But I'm sure you understand too.
So you understand why we're interviewing you today?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, because he says, you know, I'm sure you understand, or you understand, you know, that people are dead, sort of thing. And she goes, yeah, I do, but you have to understand that I've never been in this position before. Yeah, forget them 3 dead people, or I think 2 of them were dead by now. Forget them. What about me? What about me? You've got to understand about me. I've never been in this position before. God, she's vile.
But I'm sure you understand too that, like, I've never been in a situation like this before, and
Now they do cut some things out of here, so I don't know what they've cut out. You know, some of it's been edited, definitely. I don't know what, but now notice as well, she's blinking a lot as she's talking. That's a sign of lying, isn't it? Because when someone's blinking a lot when they're talking to you, they're thinking. It's you know, depending on whether you believe it. I mean, body language is a strange thing, isn't it? Because you know, you have these body language experts, but nobody's a body language expert. I think people can hide. You know, if somebody is like a serial liar, they would probably know that a sign of lying is blinking a lot. So they would look like really earnestly at someone like that. So, you know, people do try and cover up things. I don't, unfortunately, until Elon Musk or someone invents something where you can actually read someone's mind, what they're thinking. You know what they're trying to go to the moon for? Why don't they try and do that? That would be much more useful. Imagine if the police just get someone in an interrogation room and they could just scan their mind, go lying. You know, it'd be like brilliant. But yeah, she's definitely lying. She makes eye contact with him, but not that much. And when she does, she's blinking like mad. And she was doing that while she was crying as well. She was like, you know, when she was being interviewed, I love them, and then got all the names wrong because she loved them so much, she couldn't even remember who they were. She's a piece of work, isn't she? She's a real piece of work. But yeah, watch her. She's definitely doing a lot of blinking, a lot. She doesn't know what to say.
Been very, very helpful with the health department through the week.
Oh,
because
yeah.
I wanted to help that side of things as much as possible because
Well, I've been very helpful because I wanted to help as much as possible. She wasn't helpful, was she? She didn't take their phone calls. She couldn't remember where she bought the bloody mushrooms. It was some Asian supermarket. You know, she wasn't helpful at all.
I do want to know what happened. I love them a lot. They've always been really good to me. And they always said to me that they would support me.
They've been really good to me and they always said they would support me. So you went and murdered them, Erin. What a nice person you are.
With love and emotional support, even though Simon and I were separated. And I really appreciated that.
Yeah.
Because my parents are both gone.
Oh, because both my parents are gone. I tell you what, they need to find out what happened to them. Did they die mysteriously? Or I think a mum had cancer, I think. But you know what? Wouldn't surprise me if she finished them off. Bloody Lady Macbeth mushroom. God. Wouldn't surprise me at all. And then she goes on the pit, because my parents have both gone. So they treated, this is what makes it even worse. They treated her so well. They were so nice to her. She didn't deserve their niceness, did she?
My grandparents are all gone. They're the only family that I've got.
Oh, they're the only family that I've got. So grandparents are gone. Yeah, and you've got all that money, haven't you, Erin, as a result? Strange that, isn't it? You've got all this money as a result of all your family being dead. You know? Makes you wonder, doesn't it? Just makes you wonder. What else has she got in her past? I think there's a lot. Probably even more to come out, isn't there, about Erin? Now, what you'll hear as well in this interview is her lying. If you remember, please put up the Pinocchios when she starts lying, because this is the interview where she denies ever foraging for mushrooms and she denies ever having a dehydrator. So get your Pinocchios ready.
2 million pieces of evidence seized from Erin's computer devices has also been revealed, including a book called Criminal Poisoning that was found on a tablet seized from her Leongatha home. It was titled Some Common Homicidal Poisons. The text detailed the color.
Oh, a book about poisoning. Oh my God. And yet the jury weren't allowed to know any of this. I tell you that she was protected. She was definitely protected in this trial.
Odor, taste, lethal dose, and symptoms for a handful of poisons, including antifreeze, arsenic, and cyanide. Another key piece of evidence.
Oh my God! Antifreeze, arsenic, and cyanide she was looking up. Oh my God! Bloody hell! It's worse than you even think, isn't it? You know, it's like as worse as you thought it could be. It's even worse. Oh my God. She really is Lady Macbeth, isn't she? Who's that other one that poisoned it? Although in Caligula, in the Roman times, there was it Livia? I think it was Livia. She poisoned loads of people, didn't she? I mean, poisoning is a favourite method of women to kill, isn't it? Of course, because sometimes it's harder for a woman to kill someone with violent methods. You know what I mean? Though she does look like she could. Maybe she should have tried. No, I'm not going to be. No, I'm not going to be facetious. I'll be good. You know, she's been researching cyanide, arsenic, antifreeze, for God's sake. Oh my God. I wonder if there's other people that she's poisoned. I can't believe she's just suddenly started poisoning at 50 years old. You know, people like this don't normally start, do they, at 50? Hi, Sugar Cat. Oh. Yeah, her eye drops as well, yeah. God. Yeah, I agree, Anja, that she probably did do it, rehearse just all this. I wouldn't be surprised, if she was looking up things like, putting on a good show or giving it, like, just bloody hell. Bloody hell. I mean, it's quite, even though we've been following it all this time, for months, haven't we, really? It's still quite shocking, isn't it, this? Because you sort of, although she was found guilty, and I felt it was the right thing that she was found guilty, there wasn't, until now, there wasn't like any smoking gun, was there, with Erin's conviction? It was not one big thing. It was a lot of little things all that knitted together. And that's what the prosecutor did so successfully. She put all those little pieces together, which made one great big piece, didn't it? And now we're getting, a whole load of other sort of information that makes it even more certain, aren't we? So, gosh, it is quite shocking.
That was kept secret was Ms. Patterson's 2 trips to the tip. She admitted she dumped the food dehydrator 4 days after the lunch, but the jury was never told that was in fact her second trip there. During the pre-trial hearing, it was revealed her first visit to the tip was only 45 minutes after her lunch guests had left her home.
45 minutes after a lunch guest had left her home, she was at the tip, getting rid of something.
Just over 2 weeks, Ms. Patterson will return to court here for a plea hearing. It's where those who have been impacted by the murderous mushroom meal will have a chance to read out victim impact statements, including the sole survivor, Ian Wilkinson.
Let's bring in criminologist, Associate Professor Xanthi Mallet now. Xanthi, this seems like a really important part of the story as a whole. Why?
Oh, here's Xanthi. She always pops up. She looks like she's on holiday maybe or something, but she's on the beach. Good old Xanthi. I do quite like listening to her, to be honest.
Why wasn't the jury told?
Well, they have to ensure that nothing prejudicial is presented to the jury. So ultimately, it was decided that those previous charges, the allegations against Simon's life, may have actually unfairly weighted the case against Erin Patterson. So they were separated out and they were later dropped. And ultimately, that was suppressed. But now, obviously, we're learning all of those details.
Do we know why those attempted murder charges in relation to Simon were dropped?
We don't know why they were dropped. We know that the prosecution wanted to have them rolled into the murder charges against the Wilkinsons, Pattersons, and obviously Ian Wilkinson's attempted murder, but those cases were separated. It was the night before that case began.
I bet Simon's not eating curry again. I bet he's gone right off curry.
That the charges were actually dropped, and no information has been forthcoming as to why that decision was made.
We now have a better understanding of why Simon turned down the lunch invitation, don't we?
We absolutely do. He was obviously very cautious at this stage. He'd been very unwell a number of times, and he'd linked those quite clearly to meals that Erin Patterson had made for him. In fact, he'd been keeping a very detailed Excel document with his symptoms, times, dates. And the only thing that linked those things together was Erin Patterson preparing food. So he was certainly very suspicious and told his family about his suspicions at that time.
And we can also now show the vision of Erin's first trip to the tip, just 45 minutes after the deadly lunch ended. Do we know what she dumped?
We don't. And again, that's why that evidence was declared inadmissible, because it could have been simply an innocent visit to the tip. We saw her dumping cardboard, but we don't know what else. So ultimately, again, the judge decided that that may have been unfair if that was included, because we just couldn't demonstrate what item she actually.
I'll tell you what, that judge has been very fair to Erin. I think she'd be really struggling to appeal this conviction. All this evidence that was left out, that really, you could say, really, why was this evidence not in there? Evidence that she'd researched other poisons and that Simon had been poisoned possibly on many occasions. So she's had it all her own way, this woman, and she doesn't appreciate anything. All she cares about is herself. She doesn't care about those people who died. She really does not care. And then somebody said there in the chat, I think it might be you, Friday. Yeah, of course she's got a sister. Yeah, when she said all these, so I've got no family. What about her sister? I mean, what about her sister? Where is her sister? And what does she think of it all, I wonder? And my opinion would be that I think Erin's always been jealous of her sister, because her sister's like the one who did do well at university. She's the one that did become a respected geologist and, respected in her field. Erin's the one that had a lot of promise, but never lived up to her promise. Because first of all, she had like the drink and driving, smashing into a tree. Then she lost her job at the air traffic control. She's sort of, Erin's like the waster of the family, isn't she? Lucky for her that she got left all that money, because I don't think she would have been able to make any money, because she couldn't stick to anything, could she? And then in the end, of course, she was looking to become a midwife and a bloody nurse. Oh my God. Oh my God. Erin, the person who was scared of hospitals, she wanted to be a nurse and a midwife. What would she have done with them babies? Because the thing is, she will. If she has got, because they're saying she's got Munchausen's, aren't they? So she's a prime Beverly Alley, Lucy Letby, that type of person. She'd be in there with them babies or whatever, or the people that were giving birth, or anybody vulnerable would be at risk from Erin, wouldn't they? Whether it be elderly people, anybody who was. Erin likes the power, and she got away with it all those times with Simon. That's why she thought she could do it again. And if she would have got away with this, what would have stopped her doing it again to other people? And it makes you wonder, has she done this sort of thing in the past? Just wouldn't surprise me if something comes out that she's done.
Disposed of.
This trial, it's captivated people around the world. What do we now know about Erin Patterson's fascination with poisons?
Well, we certainly know that she had a number of very suspicious documents, including a book that outlined common homicidal poisonings and other items that showed that she'd had a certain interest in poisons. And there was also a Facebook post that related to poisons and alleged poisoning of her cat, accidental poisoning of her cat. So yes, we certainly know she did have a lot of interest in poisons and true crime.
Oh, what? Accidental poisoning of her cat? Oh, the cat was a test. No doubt. Let me listen to that again. I missed that. State of it. I'm so angry with Erin. She's just so horrible. I just want to be really nasty to her.
People around the world. What do we now know about Erin Patterson's fascination with poisons?
Well, we certainly know that she had a number of very suspicious documents, including a book that outlined common homicidal poisonings and other items that showed that she'd had a certain interest in poisons. And there was also a Facebook post that related to poisons and alleged poisoning of her cat, accidental poisoning of her cat. So yes, we certainly know she did have a lot of interest in poison.
Accidental poisoning of her cat? Oh my God. Oh. Dear me. I hate this woman. I hate her.
And true crime generally. She was a very active member of a number of forums. So all of this rolled together was, really quite suspicious.
Okay, Xanthi Mallet, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Oh my God. So the thing is, normally, I think, when you look for, you know, and I like true crime, obviously, you know, or interest. I always think it's a hard thing to say that you like it, but I'm fascinated by it. I think that's what I'd say. And also, I always want to see the bad guy or the bad girl get their comeuppance. There's nothing better than that, is it, when somebody is found guilty, who is guilty, and they get, you know, their comeuppance and justice happens, you know. I think that's it, isn't it? Most of us that are interested in true crime, that's why we're interested in it, because we don't like injustice and we want to see people, you know, get what they deserve, if you like. And, you know, it doesn't always happen that way, unfortunately. But I think we've had quite a lot of justice this year in the cases that we've been following. I feel that with this Madeleine Soto case, I feel very empty about that, because I feel like that's an empty justice. You know, now that Stephen Stearns sort of pled guilty and then no contest to a murder, that feels wrong to me. I know he's still going to prison, but he's not going to get the death penalty, is he? And I feel like he's sort of, and that horrible speech he made, at the end of his sentencing and that. Anyway, at the end of the day, he's gone in the hellhole. I am going to do one more video about Madeleine, because I just feel like it's like Madeleine Soto, this is, she's gone and there's not proper justice. I don't know. He hasn't stood there and said he was guilty. He said of killing her, he said no contest, which he shouldn't be allowed to say that. He should have to say I did it and say what happened. You know, we're never going to know what really happened to Madeleine. And he's escaped. So I feel like that, although it's justice in a way, it's empty justice. Whereas with Erin, I think she will get a life sentence. But again, I mean, she hasn't pled guilty, has she? But it'd be interesting to see what else comes out. And I can't see she's going to appeal. How can she appeal? How can she appeal? Right, let's find the full interview now and watch that, and then we can get really angry about that. Oh, dear me. Horrible, horrible woman. I mean, seriously horrible. Anyway. Just fine. So we'll watch the full interview now. Here it is. God, you know what? She's so evil, this woman. I think she's going to be like, it'd be like, you know, like, I mean, people don't do it now these days because, but years ago, like when I was a kid, things that your parents used to say to you to try and get you to go off to sleep. You know, it'd be like, oh, you've got to get sleep or the bogeyman will come and get you. And then you'd be like, oh, my God. And you couldn't go, you know, if you couldn't go to sleep before, even less when you thought the bogeyman was going to come and get you. But, yeah, I mean, this is what people used to say to their kids. But it'd be like, oh, you know, you better eat your greens, or, you know, Erin Patterson will come and get you, or something like that. Oh, God. It is absolutely breathtaking, isn't it? Jaw-dropping. The evil of this woman is, you know, just, I'm speechless. It takes a lot for me to be speechless, that's for sure. Okay, let's have a look at, so this was 5th of August 2023 at 17:11:17. Oh, 17:11:17. Oh no, that was just where I stopped it at.
Erin Patterson, 84 Gibson Street, Lancaster.
Oh, you can hear it. Okay.
Underwent transplant last night. Okay, his condition is still extremely critical as of last report. Heather and Gail passed away. We're trying to understand what has made them so ill.
Yeah.
While conversely, we're trying to understand why you're not that healthy. So you understand why we're interviewing you today?
Yeah, I do. But I'm sure you understand too that, like, I've never been in a situation like this before, and I've been very, very helpful with the health department through the week because I wanted to help that side of things as much as possible because I do want to know what happened. I love them a lot. They've always been really good to me, and they always said to me that they would support me with love and emotional support, even though Simon and I were separated, and I really appreciated that. Because my parents are both gone. My grandparents are all gone. They're gone. They're the only family that I've got. I think Simon hated that I still had a relationship with his parents. But I love.
It's very quiet, isn't it? But did you hear what she said then? She said, I think Simon hated the fact that I got on so well with them. It's how she brings Simon into is she in love with Simon or not? I can't make my mind up because apparently it was her who he wanted to get back with her and she didn't want to. Or did she just, this part of me, I'm thinking, had he started seeing somebody else? Was there another woman? Because people like Erin, and I've told you she reminds me of someone I used to know. It's very, very much. And it was very similar with her and her ex. She was estranged from her ex. I don't even know if they were divorced. Can't remember. But she didn't like him having anybody else. And they still had a relationship going on. It's very weird. It's like she just wanted to be in control of him. And sometimes people are like that.
And they're the only grandparents that my children have. And I want them to stay in my kids' life.
Yeah, is that something
I can't hear it very
done
well.
in the past, foraging for mushrooms or anything like that? Never.
Right, so this is where he's just asked her, have you ever foraged for mushrooms? I'm going to see if I can find a louder one in a minute. But he just asked her, have you ever foraged for mushrooms? Look at her face. Never, she said. Never. Never. There's a bit of duping delight here, a little bit of a smirk, isn't it? She's thinking, well, I have, but you'll never find out, because she doesn't realise. The police, they're quite clever, really.
Never.
You preserve food.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Let's look at that again. In fact, let me put it on slow. You liar. Never. But she can't look him in the eye. Never. And then she gives a little dupe and delight smirk. Yeah, look. Now, is that the face of a liar? I think that's the other thing. She doesn't realise that her face gives her away all the time. She looks like a psychopath and a liar, doesn't she? Literally looks like a psychopath and a liar. God. Never. So she said, let me just stop it and put it back on normal speed. So she said she's never foraged for mushrooms. Never.
Do you preserve foods or anything like that? Do you ever dehydrate or anything like that?
Have you ever had a dehydrator? No. Liar. Liar.
Yeah. You know anything about a dehydrator in your house? Or... Okay. Do you own a dehydrator?
No.
When did you own a dehydrator?
Oh God, that's so low, isn't it? Let's see if I can find a better one, a louder one. Right, I think this might be better. Let's see.
The public were able to hear what only those who were in the courtroom previously had heard, and that's Erin Patterson in her own voice. This is a police record of interview that was done shortly after she was taken in for questioning, and it's been released as part of a trove of documents and recordings made by the Supreme Court today after her murder conviction last month for 3 murders. Now, what you're about to hear is the entire police record of interview, including questions and answers from Erin Patterson.
This is a DVD recorded interview between Detective Leading Senior Constable Stephen Eppingstall and Erin Patterson of 84 Gibson Street, Leongatha, conducted at the Wonthaggi Police Station on Saturday, the 5th of August 2023. Other person present is my corroborator,
Detective Senior Constable David Martin LK 40053.
Right. Erin, do you read the time? It's now 4:41 p.m. by my watch.
Yeah.
All right. Could you please state your full name and address for me?
Erin Trudy Patterson, 84 Gibson Street, Leongatha.
All right. Erin, I intend to interview you today in relation to the death of 2 people, being Gail Patterson and Heather Wilkinson. Before continuing, I must inform you that you do not have to say or do anything, but anything you say or do is being recorded and may be used in evidence in court. Do you understand that information?
Yeah.
All right. I must also inform you of the following rights. You may communicate with or attempt to communicate with a friend or relative to tell that person of your whereabouts.
Okay.
You may communicate with or attempt to communicate with a legal practitioner. If you're not an Australian citizen or permanent resident here in Australia, you may communicate with or attempt to communicate with the consular office of the country of which you are a citizen.
Okay.
Do you understand all of these rights?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you wish to exercise any of these rights before the interview proceeds?
No, sorry. No, I don't.
That's all right. Now, I'll just confirm with you that you had an opportunity to speak to a solicitor before this interview commenced. Okay, and you're happy with that?
Yeah.
All right. Now, I'll also remind you that your rights are with you for the entire time you're with us. Okay, so if you decide later on you want to exercise any of those rights, you just let me know and we'll do that. All right. Now, what is your age and date of birth?
48, 30th of the 9th, 74.
And are you an Australian citizen?
Yeah.
Are you a permanent resident here in Australia?
I was born here and I live here and I'm a resident of Australia. Is that what that would be?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
And are you of Aboriginal or Torres Strait Islander descent?
No.
Okay. All right. Now, as we discussed earlier, and we've been together for a few hours now. It was after 11:30 that we came to your house today.
Right.
We want to discuss the deaths of Heather Wilkinson and Gail Patterson today with you. When we were at the house earlier, we discussed that you hadn't really been kept in the loop, and it come as news to you that Heather and Gail had both passed away. Following eating at your house, Donald, Ian, Gail and Heather all become so ill that they ultimately ended up in the intensive care unit at both the Dandenong Hospital and moved to the Austin Hospital. All right. Following that, they had
when he tells her about Heather, or talks about Heather and Gail passing away, she doesn't even Look, see her face there. That's not a face of sadness. That's like a face of like, oh bloody hell, they've passed away and they've got me. You know, it's like irritation or resignation, isn't it? It's not a face of like so desperately sad because these two women have passed away that she fed a meal to. She's like a robot, isn't she? Sorry, I'm just going back because I've got my headphones on now. I can hear it properly. I think it's so low, it's hard to hear it without headphones.
Are you a permanent resident here in Australia?
I was born here and I live here and I'm a resident in Australia. Is that okay?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
And are you Aboriginal or Torres Strait Islander descent?
No.
Okay. All right. Now, as we discussed earlier, and we've been together for a few hours now. It was after 11:30 that we came to your house today.
Yeah.
We want to discuss the deaths of Heather Wilkinson and Gail Patterson today with you. When we were at the house earlier, we discussed.
It's just like, she's not really upset, is she? I'd be, God, if I'd fed someone a meal at my house and it turned out they died because of something I'd even, innocently given them, like unwittingly, I'd be inconsolable. Especially someone who she says she loved so much. She's just thinking, I just want to go home and read a book on poison.
That you hadn't really been kept in the loop, and it come as news to you that Heather and Gail had both passed away.
Yeah, they do cut it a lot. I wonder what they cut out there. Maybe she did get upset there. Maybe she did start crying, but I don't know. I wonder what they cut out there. Strange, isn't it? Releasing the video, but redacting a lot of it, even though she has already been found guilty. Strange. Makes you wonder.
Following eating at your house, Donald, Ian, Gail and Heather all become so ill that they ultimately ended up in the intensive care unit at both the Dandenong Hospital and moved to the Austin Hospital. All right. Following that, they had a deterioration in their condition, and that they become so ill that their livers have failed. All right. Donald underwent transplant last night. Okay, and his condition is still extremely critical as of last report. Heather and Gail passed away. All right. In relation to Ian, I don't have a current prognosis in relation to where he's at. As of late.
I don't know about you, but I feel like she was probably hoping that they all died, because then they won't be able to say about the lie. I bet she's thinking here, God, if these people survive, they'll be able to say things like about I lied that I had cancer. Ian was a key witness, wasn't he? He was a key witness. And the thing about the plates and the different colours and the different sizes. I wonder if she sat there now thinking, God, why haven't they all died? Can't they hurry up and die? Because I think that case would have been a lot harder to prove if Ian hadn't survived. I mean, maybe she still would have been found guilty, but there would have been so much evidence lost, testimony lost.
Yesterday, the diagnosis isn't great for him either. Right. We're trying to understand what has made them so ill. Understand?
Yeah.
While we're asking these questions.
Yeah.
Conversely, we're trying to understand why you're. Understand why we're here with you on YouTube.
Yeah, I do. But I'm sure you understand too that, like, I've never been in a situation like this before.
Sorry about that. I'll just see what she's barking at. Hey, What are you barking at? Shh. Shh, we're trying to listen. Trying to listen to something. Shush. Okay, let me go back a little bit there because there was a little bit of barking.
Conversely, we're trying to understand why you're not that ill.
Yeah, we're trying to understand why you're not that ill. And she just goes, She's thinking, why am I not ill? So she'd obviously not thought about the story yet about taking the Imodium and throwing up after eating all that cake. There was all the reasons that she gave. She hadn't had time to think about it all then because she doesn't mention the cake here or any of that. She's thought about that when it's come up to the trial.
So you understand why we're interviewing you today?
Yeah, I do. But I'm sure you understand too that I've never been in a situation like this before, and I've been very, very helpful with the health department through the week because I wanted to help that side of things as much as possible because
she wasn't helpful. Oh my God. You just want to poke her in the eyes, don't you? You just want to go, you're a liar. She was not helpful. She didn't answer the phone. Do you remember that? The woman from the health department had to phone the woman from the Child Protective Services when she knew she was at Erin's to actually get to speak to Erin. The woman that was investigating, she couldn't get hold of Erin. And in the end, she'd found out that the child protection officer was going round to Erin's house. So she phoned the child protection officer when she knew she was at Erin's and said, can I speak to Erin? That's the only way she got to speak to her. She wasn't helpful in the slightest.
I do want to know what happened. Yeah. So I've given them as much information as they've asked for and offered up all the food and all the information about where the food came from.
No.
Oh, God, what happened there? Sorry. Well, she didn't give all the... Oh, I went onto the wrong tab there. What did I do there?
Say, for the record again, you were very helpful at the house and you did point out a couple of things.
Right. Yeah, I pressed the wrong button there somehow. Hang on. So she wasn't helpful.
Given them as much information as they've asked for and
offered
up all the food and all the information about where the food came from.
No, she did offer up the food, didn't she? She did tell them where the leftovers were, but that's because she knew there was no... she arranged it, didn't she? That's why she discharged herself from hospital after 5 minutes. As soon as they mentioned death cap mushrooms, she was off, going home to, prepare her daughter's ballet bag or whatever, put the lambs away. No, she wasn't. She was going to rearrange it, and then she said to the police, oh, yeah, come over here. Here's the leftovers. They're right there. It was all organised, wasn't it?
I fully understand.
Yeah.
All right. At the house, and I must say, for the record again, you were very helpful at the house, and you did point out a couple of things for us that will help us with our investigation. Mainly the fruit platter that you said Heather bought for you, and the gravy in the fridge in the pantry that you said was from the night, and you kept on advice from the health department. So thank you for that. You also pointed out a recipe book on the counter, and you referred me to page 250 odd, a recipe for beef Wellington that you indicated was the recipe that you cooked. Okay. All right, on what we saw at your address in Leongatha. We didn't see a lot of food from Asian grocers or Indian grocers or those kind of stores.
To look in my fridge, I've got a lot of Asian cooking
Okay.
stuff in my fridge.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Oh, didn't you look in my fridge? I've got a lot of Asian cooking stuff in my fridge. God, she's so sanctimonious. And she can't stop blinking.
Are we likely to find more of that kind of stuff in your Mount Waverley address, do you think? Or
No, because I did a big clean out of the pantry and fridge the last time that I was there because I want to sell that place.
okay. All right.
So the pantry and fridge there will be empty.
Okay. So you want to sell that place? All right, no problem.
Oh, she's not sure what she's supposed to say, is she?
Obviously, we've got concerns in relation to these mushrooms and where they've come from. Is that something you've done in the past, foraging for mushrooms or anything like that?
Never. Never. And that's an emphatic never. Who does that remind you of? That was Jerry McCann, wasn't it? When that reporter asked him, "Did you kill Madeline?" And he went, "No, never." And that's an emphatic never. Just, you can see similarities there, can't you? Allegedly, I'm not having a go at Jerry McCann. Let other people do that. But, no, never foraged. Of course, then it comes to a trial and, she's a keen forager. She loves mushrooms. They're very healthy, and she she was powdering them and putting them in her children's chocolate brownies. But this interview is no, never.
Do you preserve foods or anything like that?
No.
Have you ever dehydrated food or anything like that? Okay. You've described to me relationship with your ex-partner Simon. I'd like to understand why you had his parents and his uncle and auntie over for lunch on the 29th of July.
Because I've got no other family, so they're the only support I've got left, and they've always been.
Yeah, there she goes again. She's got no other family. Where's this? You've got a sister, Erin. You do have a sister. But I don't think Erin and her sister are on good terms. And I could be wrong, but it seems to me that. When you say I have no other family, when you have a sister.
They're good to me.
Yeah.
And I want to maintain those relationships with them, in spite of what's happened with Simon.
Yep. Okay.
I love them a lot.
I love them. I love them a lot. I love them so much. I poisoned them right in front of my own eyes, just out of spite for my ex-husband. Simon's definitely the crux of all this. She wanted to hurt Simon, and she didn't care how she did it.
They've always been really good to me. And they always said to me that they would support me with love and emotional support, even though Simon and I were separated. And I really appreciated that.
Yeah. Whatever.
But my parents are both gone.
Oh.
My grandparents are all gone. They're the only family that I've got.
Yeah.
No, they're not.
They're the only grandparents that.
Right. So not only she's got a sister, she says they're the only family that I've got. She's got 2 kids as well. Poor Erin. She's all alone in the world. Well, she is now, of course, but now, God, she's such an entitled little horror. God.
My children have, and I want them to stay in my kids' life.
Yep.
And that's really important to me. And I think Simon hated that I still had a relationship with his parents. But I love them.
I love them.
Nothing that's ever happened between us, nothing he's ever done to me will change the fact that they're good, decent people that have never done anything wrong.
What has Simon done to her? Just despite anything Simon might have done, what exactly has he done to her? He hasn't done anything to her, has he? I think it's the opposite, isn't it, in fact? It's not that Simon hasn't done anything to her, it's more what she's done to Simon.
So we've been told that on the 31st of July, so 2 days after the lunch, you went to the Leongatha Hospital, okay? And that you were only there for about 5 minutes and then you left. Can you explain why you went there for 5 minutes?
Yeah, because I just went there thinking I needed a couple of bags of saline because I was really dehydrated. And they said, we want to admit you and send you to Melbourne.
Yeah.
And when you've got animals at home and children who have multiple after-school activities, you can't just be told.
Oh my God. Oh my God. So she's just been told, remember, when she went to the hospital, she was told that she might be suffering from death cap poisoning. She might even need a liver transplant. She might die. And she's saying, no, well, you know, when you've got children at home with multiple after-school activities. Oh my God. You could not make this up, could you?
And they said, we want to admit you and send you to Melbourne.
Yeah.
And when you've got animals at home and children who have multiple after-school activities, you can't just be told to drop everything and you're off to Melbourne for overnight. So I had to go home and feed the animals and pack my daughter's ballet bag. And I did that. And I went back.
Okay. Who did you speak to?
So I walked in and there was like, I don't think they were a nurse. It was like, I don't know, it could have been an enrolled nurse or it was like a helper person in the triage room, right? And she's just like, are you okay? And I said, well, no, I have to run to the toilet. I've got diarrhea. And she wasn't quite sure where it was. And so she went and found out and showed me where it was. And then she said, I'll go and find someone. I'll get a nurse or a doctor for you. And so I went to the toilet. I came back out and I was waiting in the triage area. And then a doctor came out, Dr. Webster.
Now, are you noticing how stilted this is? It's not exactly flowing, is it, Erin? Because she's making it up as she goes along, or she's having to think about it because she none of it's. Well, there'll be a truth in it, won't there? Some of it will be sort of true, but she's having to think about it a lot, isn't she? And that is normally a sign of lying, isn't it? Let's watch that.
I'll go and find someone. I'll get a nurse or a doctor for you. And so I went to the toilet. I came back out and I was waiting in the triage area. And then a doctor came out, Dr. Webster, and he said to me, sorry, that we're going to be a little while because we've got a couple of critical patients in the hospital. And I said, that's fine, don't worry about me, I'm just a gastro case. I'm not urgent, obviously.
I'm just a gastro case. Aunt's just been told that she might have ingested death cap mushrooms.
He said, oh, what's your name? And I said, Erin. And he said, oh, we've been expecting you. Because other people that you ate with on Saturday were sick. And he said, can you come through? And I said, sure. And I came in. And then he said to me, I can't say the exact words, but he said something along the lines of, we've got a concern they've eaten death cap mushrooms. And I said, what? And he said, yeah, that's what we think they've eaten. And then he started asking me about what food I served them, and I told him.
I bet when he said that to her, her heart sank. I bet she just could not believe it. You can see it in her face there, to be honest. She could not believe she'd been rumbled. And that's where, you know, her world imploded, wasn't it? When that clever doctor said to her, you know, someone who really is clever, Erin, not like you, who's pseudo-clever, said to her about the death cap mushrooms, her world just imploded. And then it's just all been lies ever since.
All right. I understand you went down to the hospital and got treatment and that. What kind of treatment did you get?
Oh, they hooked me up to a drip.
A drip?
Yeah. They said that because we're concerned. So Dr. Webster had to leave. I think he was at the end of his shift, and he passed on to another doctor, Dr. Foot. And she said to me, because the concern is that everybody's eaten something that hurts your liver, we need to give you this protective medicine. And so there was saline and acetyl something or other. I don't know what it was. But she said we need to give you this and then put you in an ambulance up to Melbourne where they can give you more, I don't know what the word is, more, where they can care for you better. Yeah. So I got saline and this other stuff and went in an ambulance up.
Okay. How long were you in the hospital for in Melbourne?
Till Tuesday afternoon.
Okay, so Monday, Tuesday. Right. And again, for full disclosure, so you understand, we've obtained warrants in relation to medical records for everyone involved in this, and so we will get medical records in relation to your treatment there as well.
Sure.
Okay. You were at home and present when we did a search warrant today, all right? I know you weren't watching everyone at all the time, but I just want to go through on tape some of the stuff we've, and like I said, we'll give you a copy of this, everything we've received. Kitchen, far left bottom drawer, instruction manual for a Sunbeam Food Lab electronic dehydrator. What's that in relation to that? Do you know anything about it?
Look at her face now, because just like a couple of minutes ago it said to her, have you ever had a dehydrator? And she said, no, never. Look at her face now. He's going to bring up the receipt and the dehydrator, etc. Do you know what? There you go, Erin. You're not as clever as you thought you were, and the police are a lot cleverer than you thought they were.
A dehydrator in your house? Or?
No.
Okay.
No.
Do you own a dehydrator?
No.
Okay.
I've got manuals of lots of stuff I've collected over the years. I've had all sorts of appliances and I just keep them all in.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah, she's just kept all those manuals for all those appliances, the dehydrator that she never had, but she's kept the manual for it. It must be a phantom manual, you know, perhaps the Mothman came in and dropped it off for her. God, she does. She, honest to God. Well, did you know what? I'd expect her there to go, oh, you know, now you mention it, I have got a dehydrator. I just forgot. It just slipped my mind.
When did you own a dehydrator?
I don't know, I've had one years ago.
Okay. What did you use that for?
Like when I first got the Thermomix, I got really excited about like making everything from scratch, you know, and I did.
Yeah, she got really excited about making poisonous meals, putting poison in meals and killing Simon. God, she's squirming here. Now, I'm surprised they couldn't show this in the trial. You know, she could never say she didn't have a fair trial, could she?
A lot of, you know, like everything from scratch ingredients, and I did a lot of that, so we had something like that.
Okay. Kitchen bench located against the wall. Recipe tin eats book. Okay, I'm not sure.
That's that recipe book.
That's that same book that the Wellington recipe coming out. Yeah. Right. From the fridge, we got the fruit salad platter, which you pointed out, and in the fridge in the butler's pantry, we got the white jug containing the brown liquid, which you pointed out as well.
Yeah.
So thank you for that. From the study, we took the computer, we took another computer, and we took another computer. Right. In the lounge, we grabbed an iPad in a black and red case. From the room, we've grabbed a computer.
That would be an old one I had up in the top of this cupboard.
Okay. Yeah.
That's
Yep.
a very old one.
All right. So that, if I had to prioritise, that would be bottom of the list.
I don't think anyone's power bill from 30.
Okay. All right. No dramas. All right. So.
Oh, look at her blinking. Oh my God, it's gone into overdrive, hasn't it? She is thinking, what's on those computers? What is it? What searches have I made? She's suddenly realised she's cooked. She's finally realised, oh my God, these police are not the idiots I thought they were, and I'm not the genius that I thought I was.
We'll pop that one at the back of the list. All right. A black
Oh
mobile
my
phone,
God.
which again I'll prioritise tomorrow for you.
Thank you.
Upstairs bedroom 2, far left towards backyard. Says Erin's bedroom, so I assume that's yours. Apple iPad.
I don't own any iPads, but they would be tablets, Android tablets.
Oh, okay. There's a Samsung tablet listed below that, located on top of the bed.
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe they've got it wrong, that it's not an iPad, it's some other tablet. Samsung tablet, an Oppo mobile phone, and your mobile phone. All right. So,
And so you said a black mobile phone earlier.
Yeah.
So that would be a Nokia. It's a really old Nokia that I've got for, like, you know, if you break your phone.
Yeah.
And you got to send it away from repair, and you need. So I've got this like really old thing.
Yeah, so have you noticed as well with Erin, so when it's something like that she wants to, this is like a dummy phone, isn't it? She wants them, look at his face, the guy over the way he's looking at. You know, Erin, she can't remember, she was like that in the trial, wasn't, I don't really remember, or I can't remember. And then when it's something she wants them to concentrate on, like with the leftovers and stuff, because it's something, it's almost like a red herring she's left for them. So she wants them to take notice of this phone because she knows there's nothing on that phone. I think it's that one or whatever. She's trying to lead them. When she gets voluble like this and she's trying to sort of explain about the phone, it's for her own reasons.
So,
that's right. Your mobile phone would be the top.
Yeah.
And then we're talking about his work school computer, followed by
the GeoForce one.
The GeoForce one.
Yeah.
David,
I just, one thing I wanted to clarify, to make sure I've got it right, obviously you said when taking notes. When you went to the Landgate Hospital and you said you went in there, and you got shown to the toilet, but you said you had to go home to pack stuff, and your daughter's bag and that sort of thing to feed the animals. When you had the conversation with Dr. Webster, was that when you first went there or afterwards?
I don't remember.
I don't remember.
That's all right. The other thing that I should mention that, I, again, to your credit, police went around your house on that morning.
Right.
Yep. On the 31st.
Right.
Yep. And they were obviously responding to the hospital call to check up on you.
Yeah.
And they spoke to you on the phone. And you gave them the PIN code for your gate and directed them to the bin where there were some leftovers.
Correct.
What are those leftovers that you directed them to?
They were the uneaten food from the lunch.
Okay. All right. So you helped them in getting that.
She hardly even know, she's like, it was the uneaten food from the lunch. Oh, she is totally inside this head here. It's all going on. She's not sure if she's supposed to say this, that, or the other. It's all rolling around in her head.
So it could be sampled.
Because my kids ate the meal too.
Yeah.
But there was stuff that was left over and it went straight in the bin. And so when
Yeah, my kids ate the meal too. And remember, she didn't want to take her kids to the hospital either. So we've got two. I mean, really, when you think about it, it's crazy, isn't it? You've got two people dead already now. You've got somebody else, Donald, as he called him. He was given a liver transplant, wasn't he? But it didn't work, unfortunately, for him. And then you've got Ian, who's on death's door, and he's just about to be given a liver transplant. And she's sat there like, why is she not on death's door? And why are her kids not on death's door? Because she's just said they all ate the same meal. Rubbish. Oh, and then she said that she scraped the mushrooms off, didn't she?
went to the hospital and they said they were concerned that everyone ate some contaminated food. I said, well, there's the leftovers in the bin, you can have it. Feel free to look through it.
Yep.
And I said, I'll go and get it if you want. And they said, well, that's fine, you need to go on a drip. We'll call the police. And I said, well, that's fine, just let them know I need to give them a PIN code.
Yep.
So they did that, and a bag of food appeared a bit later.
Yep.
So
yeah.
Yeah.
So thank you for helping us locate that.
It's fine.
All right. Anything else, Dave? No. All right. Any questions at the moment? No. All right. Erin, do you agree?
I think that's a bit weird as well, because when they say to her, have you got any questions? I'd have loads of questions. Be like, well, what's the prognosis on Don? What did Heather and her sister die of? Gail die of? What do they think about Ian? Is he going to survive? What do they think is she's got no questions. Because she's just thinking, let me get out of here and try and rearrange everything again. Let me get out of here and try and sort of have a think about everything.
The time is now 5:30 p.m. by my watch.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to suspend the interview now.
Yeah.
A hearing from Erin Patterson
Let's have a
herself
look at
for the
this.
first time about that fateful mushroom lunch. It's part of a huge amount of material that's been made public by the Supreme Court of Victoria, including evidence the jury in her trial didn't hear about allegations of previous poisonings of her husband, Simon. Court reporter Amber Johnston has been sifting through all this information for us. Amber, why are we getting access to this evidence now?
Hi, Kate. So as soon as those guilty verdicts were handed down a month ago now, can you believe it, Justice Christopher Beale imposed a suppression order banning the media from reporting any of the evidence that the jury didn't hear. So this is evidence and allegations that were scrapped from the triple murder trial. And it was actually Erin Patterson and her defence team who were pushing for this suppression order to protect her right to appeal. So she hasn't formally lodged that appeal yet, but today, during a mention hearing at the Victorian Supreme Court, Justice Beale decided to basically lift most of that suppression order, which means now we can report a lot of these secrets that we haven't been able to tell. So we've been hanging on to a lot of this information and we can finally reveal it after all this time.
Of course, Amber, you heard from Erin Patterson during the trial, but now we can all hear from her.
Yeah, that's right. So another part of the big development that happened today is in regards to Erin Patterson's record of interview, which has now been released for the very first time. So you might remember we actually heard the record of interview during the triple murder trial, but the actual video itself was never released. So we did our very best to try and convey her demeanour and also the lies she told to police during this time. But it doesn't really match up with, people being able to hear hear this record of interview, with their own ears. And just for some context, this formal interview that Erin Patterson did with police happened on the 5th of August, 2023. So just for some context, that was just a few days after that fateful mushroom lunch. And at this point, Heather and Gail had passed away. Don had just had a liver transplant. He was clinging to life. And of course, Ian Wilkinson was incredibly ill. So take a listen at what Erin Patterson had to say.
I'd like to understand why you had his parents and his uncle and auntie over for lunch on the 29th of July.
Because I've got no other family, so they're the only support I've got left, and they've always been really good to me.
Yeah.
And I want to maintain those relationships with them, in spite of what's happened with Simon.
Yep.
Do you know, I was thinking about this a lot today, about another case I think I was watching about the Murdochs today, over in America there. I was watching like a documentary about them, Alec Murdoch, who killed his wife, his son, probably quite a few other people. He's one of them people that bodies just follow him around. And I was thinking, when he was struggling, he probably would have liked to have spoken to his wife, because his wife had supported him, through all sorts of things. And of course, he'd murdered her, so he couldn't talk to her. So, and I thought, quite so often these twonks, that's what they do. They kill the people who support them. And, I started thinking of other cases then, similar cases. People kill their mother or their wife or their husband, and quite often they're killing the only people that actually cared about them that much. Do you know what I mean? And this is what Erin's done. It's like now when she goes to prison, like if she'd have gone to prison for anything else and they were still alive, they'd be visiting her, wouldn't they? They would be praying for her at church and, helping out with the kids and this, that and the other. And she's sort of taken away her own support. But, that is not unusual, amazingly enough, is it? You wouldn't think somebody would kill the people that care for them and look after them. But they do. They do it all the time.
I love them a lot. They've always been really good to me. And they always said to me that they would support me.
When did you find a dehydrator?
I don't know, not that many years ago.
Okay. What did you use that for?
Like when I first got the Thermomix, I got really excited about
Poisoning
making everything
Simon
from scratch.
Yeah, Amber, it's certainly fascinating to hear from Erin Patterson in that interview, but we've also learned about the real reason that her husband, Simon Patterson, didn't go to that fateful mushroom lunch.
We did, Kate, and to be quite frank, it's because he was worried that his estranged wife was going to kill him. So we can now reveal a part of the evidence that the jury didn't hear is that Simon Patterson accused his estranged wife, Erin, of trying to kill him a number of times in the 2 years leading up to that fateful mushroom lunch. So he told police that Erin Patterson allegedly served him a number of toxic meals, including a poisoned penne pasta, a poisoned chicken curry, as well as a chicken wrap, a beef stew, and also cookies. And medical experts were concerned that those meals were laced with poisons, including rat poison and dry freeze as well. Or antifreeze, sorry, I should say. So
rat poison, oh my God. How did she get away with that? This is sort of making me a bit angry, because I feel like those poor people, they were like sacrificial lambs, weren't they, going to dinner with Erin Patterson after she, they shouldn't have been allowed to go. They went there all thrilled that she'd invited them, having that delicious meal. And, oh God, just gets worse, this. Really does just get worse and worse, doesn't it?
Another interesting bit of evidence that we haven't been able to report until now is that Simon became quite suspicious that Erin was trying to poison him, and he actually confided in his father, Don Patterson, and told him that he was worried that Erin was trying to poison him, but never in a million years did he think that she would also try to kill.
Oh, God, he did tell his mum and dad that he thought she was trying to poison him, and they still went off to that lunch. Oh, my God. Oh, just honestly, this is all making me speechless. That's why I'm still up at 1:20 in the morning. And I never do late lives, really, do I, normally?
His parents and his auntie and uncle, Kate.
Amber, thank you.
Her sorrow was staged, her story well rehearsed.
They're the only support I got. They've always been really good to me. I love them.
But Erin Patterson wasn't grieving, she was hiding.
Is that something you've done in the past, foraging for the mushrooms or anything like that? Have you ever dehydrated food or anything like that?
In a cold, sterile interview room on the 5th of August 2023, the killer cook didn't just...
God, and that is the most stupid lie, because meantime, she'd been on the Facebook telling all her Facebook friends that she'd been putting powdered mushrooms and everything. But this is what I mean. She's not intelligent. She is not intelligent. She's saying to these police she's never foraged mushrooms. She's never dehydrated anything, knowing that on her face, did she not think they'd just go and check her Facebook? Did she really think they wouldn't check it? So on her Facebook, she's been saying she's been dehydrating mushrooms left, right and centre and putting them in everything.
Lie, she created a dark and sinister narrative to cover up the murders of her in-laws, Don and Gal Patterson, and Gal's sister, Heather Wilkinson.
We're trying to understand what has made them so ill. You understand?
Yeah.
While we're asking these questions.
Yeah.
Conversely, we're trying to understand why you're not that ill.
Much of the evidence the prosecution wanted to use against Patterson has remained buried in silence until now. The Supreme Court unsealing a trove of secrets the jury never heard, starting with allegations that she tried to kill her estranged husband at least 3 times in the 2 years leading up to the mushroom lunch. Simon Patterson told police the first time she tried to poison him was in November 2021 before a family trip to Wilson's prom. He says she brought a penne bolognese to his house as she helped him pack, and he fell so sick he was hospitalised for a week. The next was in May 2022 on a trip to Halqua. Simon told police that Erin fed him a chicken korma curry and he became so unwell he was hospitalised again and needed part of his bowel removed. And then a few months later on another trip to Wilson's prom, he says she handed him a chicken wrap. Again, he fell sick and his body started to spasm. He was loaded into an ambulance and became paralysed. Simon also claimed she tried to serve him poisoned cookies and a beef stew. A Facebook post to his friends, which the jury never saw, revealing, "My family were asked to come and say goodbye to me twice. I collapsed at home, then was in an induced coma for 16 days, through which I had 3 emergency operations, mainly on my small intestine."
Now, do you see what I mean when I say he's not the sharpest tack in the box, is he? Because even just that, maybe not after the first one, you wouldn't think, but after the second one, really. And then after the third one, you'd definitely be thinking. And you would, not only you wouldn't go anywhere near anything that Erin had cut for you, you'd make sure your bloody family didn't either. That, she'd just taken advantage of the what's the word? The naivety of these people.
Prosecutors alleging his symptoms were consistent with ingesting rat poison and antifreeze, but they dropped the attempted murder charges at the start of the trial. What the jury didn't know is that as Simon became suspicious, his doctor encouraged him to make a spreadsheet detailing his brushes with death, which led to one common denominator: his wife.
He said something along the lines of, "We've got a concern they've eaten death cap mushrooms." And I said, "What?"
Simon confided in his father, Don Patterson, who he made his power of
Poor
attorney, replacing his wife.
Simon hated that I still had a relationship with his parents. They always said to me that they would support me with love and emotional support, even though Simon and I were separated.
But after the mushroom lunch, as they fell gravely ill one by one, Simon called a gathering at the Austin Hospital Chapel with the wider Patterson and Wilkinson family members, where he revealed his chilling secret. Simon wanted to tell us that he suspected his own illness had been a deliberate act, that he'd stopped eating food Erin had prepared because he suspected that she might have been messing with it, said Ian and Heather's daughter, and that he was really sorry that he hadn't told our family or our parents before this, but he thought that he was the only person that she was targeting and that they'd be safe. Another piece of evidence that was thrown out relates to one of Patterson's devices that was seized after the lunch. A search on her tablet for keywords such as death cap mushrooms and poison returned a number of hits, including the appendix of a book called Criminal Poisoning with the title Some Common Homicidal Poisons. The text detailed the colour, odour, taste, lethal dose and symptoms for a handful of poisons, including antifreeze, arsenic and cyanide. But her defence barrister won a bid to have it thrown out because there was no proof that she downloaded or opened the file. One of the more bizarre pieces of evidence that was banned from the trial relates to a post Patterson made to a Facebook group called Poisons Help, Emergency Identification for Mushrooms and Plants. She wrote, "My cat chewed on this mushroom just now. He is having a vomit, was in grassland near trees. I'm in Victoria, Australia." Prosecutor Jane Warren claimed in pre-trial that Patterson never owned a cat and was fishing for information. This was the first time we have seen Erin Patterson since she was convicted a month ago. She appears to have lost a whole lot of weight and at times was gazing out a window.
I'm sure you understand too that I've never been in a situation like this before.
Then again, she probably thought she would never be caught.
And Amber is with us at the desk this evening. Amber, just take us through why those attempted murder charges relating to Simon Patterson were dropped.
Very long story short, the prosecution basically didn't have enough evidence. They really wanted to run these attempted murder charges relating to Simon Patterson alongside the charges relating to the mushroom lunch. And that's because a lot of the evidence went hand in hand with each other. But earlier on this year, the Court of Appeal basically ruled against having one big mega trial, which was a huge blow to the prosecution. And ultimately, they had to weigh up their options and they decided that it just wasn't worth pursuing those attempted murder charges against Simon Patterson. So they were dropped at the very beginning of the murder trial and they ended up just focusing on the lunch.
And so when will Erin Patterson be sentenced? And also at what point do we find out if she's going to appeal?
So Erin Patterson will be back at the Supreme.
Yeah, so it seems that the thing with the cat wasn't true. She was looking for information perhaps about where to find those mushrooms, poisonous mushrooms or whatever. She's just a complete weirdo, isn't she? Posting things like that on Facebook, wherever it was, about poisoning a cat and that. You know, she just doesn't care, does she, about any... She's just living in this sort of poison bubble, isn't she? She's horrible, horrible person.
Court in Melbourne later this month for a plea hearing. And during that plea hearing, that's when we'll learn when she'll be sentenced. So it should be this time this year, but it's still going to be a little while away. In regards to any prospects of an appeal, nothing official has happened yet. And that's because Erin Patterson and her defence team have 28 days until after she's sentenced to formally lodge that appeal. So we're going to have to be patient and wait a little while longer. But what I can tell tell you is that it's looking like she will be sentenced in Morwell.
All right, a lot still to come. Emma Johnston, thank you.
Okay.
Good evening, Australia.
Oh. So, wow. What else is going to come out? I'm sure there'll be more that will come out, won't it, in this now? But yeah, it's quite shocking, isn't it? Even though we knew, we felt that Erin was as guilty as the hell she's going to. Even so, all this is quite shocking, isn't it? It's quite shocking. And it's very sad, actually, to think that Don and Gail didn't know that Simon suspected Erin was trying to poison him. But it seems that Heather and Ian knew nothing about it. But it seemed like Simon just thought she was trying to kill him, never thought that she would try and kill his relatives. But you know what? I'm sorry. It's like you think, God, they wanted to go. They wanted to go and have that nice meal. They wanted to probably have a look at Erin's house or whatever. Heather and Ian, who'd not been before. When people sort of become older, sometimes their lives aren't very exciting. And it was like, they were glad, they were also probably liked having a meal put in front of them. It's lovely when someone else cooks you a meal, isn't it? But yeah, you think now I know it's with hindsight, but they had an idea that she was a poisoner. I wouldn't have gone to her house. But I think the thing is that these 4 victims here, Don, Gail, Heather and Ian, they're very naive people, like nice people. They wouldn't think bad of it. They wouldn't think, they're trusting. They were trusting and what have you. It'd be difficult for people like that, not cynical people like me, but, for nice people who are, I'm not saying I'm not a nice person, but you know what I mean? I am quite cynical, who's watched a lot of true crime. They've probably never watched a true crime show in their lives. They're not that, they're not that, it's not their thing, is it? Well, I don't know if it was, but I doubt it. They just don't strike me as those kind of people. They were just salt of the earth, good, nice people, and she killed them in the worst way you can imagine. I mean, they died in agony as well. Agony. Died in agony. And she sat there and watched them eat what was going to kill them. I think it's like, oh God, let me just send her to hell again before I go, because it makes me feel good when I watch her going down there. So Erin doesn't know if she believes in God or not, does she? But well, she'll find out one day. She'll find out one day. And if she thinks it's bad in prison, just wait till she goes into the hellhole, the real hellhole. Yeah. Oh, anyway, good look at this statement. I can't believe I've done a live like this. But anyway, I'm not really normally up at this time. But I will be next weekend, because next weekend is my birthday. And my niece is coming over. And number one son and his friends are taking us out, so for a nice meal and everything. So yeah, and maybe might be going clubbing afterwards. Oh dear! So that'll be fun. I'll let you know how that goes. That's next weekend. Yeah. Thing about me is what I find is I'm normally in bed by 10, but if I'm not in bed by 10. I sort of get a bit of a second wind. Not that I feel like I could go out clubbing now. I just want to go to bed now. But I'm glad I came on to talk about this, because, yeah, it's pretty shocking, isn't it? It's important information that's coming out. And I think there'll be more to come out as well, don't you? Anyway, I'm going to bed. I will see you really soon. Thank you, of course, for watching. There was a lot of you here, so it's obviously a popular time of day to do a live. I thought I'd be talking to myself, but actually there was a lot of you here. I want to thank Admit, who's been a member for 10 months. That came up and she sent me a super sticker. Thank you so much. But thank you all of you for watching, and I'll see you really soon in the next video. Be careful who you go to lunch with. You know, just got to be careful. Feels like can't trust anyone these days, does it? A clubby, yeah. Yeah, you never know. You know, listen, yeah, I've had my moments. We'll see. It's a bit too hot as well. Like, I honestly hate having a birthday in August. I never liked having an August birthday when I was in England either. Well, when I was at school, because it was always in the summer holidays. So you sort of missed out on, like, you know, it wasn't the same as having your birthday while you're actually at school. And then I probably did enjoy having it in August then after I left school. But since I've come to Spain, I don't like having my birthday in August because it's too hot. There's too many people. All the restaurants are full. I mean, we tried to get in one restaurant. It was booked up till 28th of August. So, you know, we're trying to find a restaurant that we can actually get into. Anyway, I'm looking forward to it. Oh, Anja, you're welcome. Thank you for being here with us. Yeah. Well, they probably did have a good life, but do you know what's really as well? Because Gail and Don, they were married, weren't they? And, you know, they'd been together forever since they were childhood sweethearts. And they died within a couple of days of each other. But Ian, I think perhaps it was the same for him and Heather. But Ian is on his, you know, I think about Ian and I think he's the only survivor. He'll have survivor's guilt. It's just awful. He's lost his wife. He's been through terrible illness. I mean, he had to have a liver transplant. He survived by the skin of his teeth. And then to find out that it was actually poisoning. I hope he's okay. I really hope he's okay. But anyway, okay, I'm definitely going now. I'll see you really soon in the next video, and until then, may your God go with you.